It's time for another best of 5. One of these teams staying alive in the uppers, the other dropping to the lowers. Complexity versus Liquid starts now.
The road to world continues brick by brick, but our most important stop happens in this truly historic city. For two high-flying teams, it's Liquid and Complexity. 5 possible games in our winner bracket match.
Oh man, this is one of the series that I have been looking forward to all day long, and I'm even happier that I get to cast it. This is going to be a banger of a series. Team Liquid up against Complexity. I mean, Spaceman, they had such similar splits in my eyes. I mean, you think back all the way to the Winter Major. Both of them made it to the semifinals, placed top 4 on the other side of each bracket. They didn't face off against each other, but here in Boston, they will. And continuing on into their split, they had a good first regional showing. I mean, you had Team Liquid going all the way to the grand finals, losing, of course, against Team Vitality. But Complexity, they won their first regional event. And I'd say both of them started to fall off a little bit after that. You know, regionals 2 and 3 were somewhat shaky, some solid top 8, top 6 performances. But we haven't seen them get back to their peak shape, peak performance. And we might get a glimpse of that today.
You're really going to need that cadence if you're coming in. Looking at Complexity, no matter what you slice it at this point, it's going to be a tough road for them. The volume of shots favors Liquid in this matchup, but Complexity have SSG right on their tails in North America, and they've gotten better as the season's gone on. We've seen the 3-headed Hydra that's come out, looking at AJG and CR really getting involved as the splits have continued. But Razebull, the point man, the one running the offense for Complexity, he has to have a big series here.
I think a big factor in a lot of this is going to be who has the cleaner transitions. Both teams, of course, love to play a lot of offense. Neither one of them are quite defensive. They want to get behind the ball quickly and stay the offensive side, hold pressure, try to suffocate you with the boost starvation. It's going to come down to these clears. TRR looking for a clear down the other side, but it's given right into Oski. A Chronic, good control in the midfield, and nobody's challenging him. Here's a free flip reset, and a pass out to Oski, saved off the crossbar and out, but they're still applying that pressure.
Couple of warning shots. Timon on the defense, and a diving save from AJG keeps it out. Still alive as Atal will do his best to keep the play moving, and the counterattack blossoms on the opposite side. Razebull wins a ridiculous touch to try to squeeze the offense out, and you start peeling off defenders. It makes it easier for Complexity. The Liquid are very well known for their counterattacks, how quickly they can make a shot happen out of thin air.
But they weren't that efficient on those opportunities just granted to them. It was good attempts on the net, but you think that they get another look at it, surely they're going to find the back of the net. A Chronic wants another stab at it, but quickly denied and pinched to the corner. Off the backboard, we've got Complexity standing tall on the defense.
I mean, watch these tendencies early. It's so many shots towards the backboard. TR,
what a flick.
What a flick! And that's how Complexity gets started.
And there is the transition that I was talking about for Complexity. TRR flip reset. A Chronic could have challenged earlier, but he opted to get the boost in the midfield, gave that space away, and with a beautiful dribble, you flick it into the midfield, and it's a free goal.
And when you have pressure through the corner, you're forcing that contest right in the center box, so you're worried about numbers pushing up. Liquid do a nice job, but Complexity do a better one, and that's what they do so well. Off the kickoffs, we've seen it time and time again, where Liquid come back into a game, but down 1-0 with still plenty of time to play.
And it's good to see Complexity ignoring, the boost steals out of Team Liquid, not try to fight Liquid on that midfield spot. Instead, just stay behind the ball. CRR looked for a demo. But so, corner boost, and on the Batmobile, by the way. Quite an interesting pick. Double commit from Complexity. Nobody's up in the air. Free shot given away. Team Liquid still knocking on the door. Nobody is going to answer.
Similar shots and similar spots so far as Liquid tried yet again to the lower left post. It just didn't work out this time. Defense from Complexity standing strong once more. You have Razebull winning extra 50s at the midfield, makes it so much more difficult to keep on to possession. Atal will have to go find boost, and the Chronic will now get the call. So numbers start to stack. You start pushing towards the left side, and with that, again, you're trying to peel off defenders from the goal line, but that 2 push that really works out for Liquid helps on these counterattacks. The pressure's still here for Complexity. But it leads to nothing. Yet again, Atal tried. But every time you start working upfield for Liquid, it just seems like it starts going by the wayside.
Right. AJG, no control behind the ball. Corner space, free for a Chronic. Boost is also up. A toe is going to flick one early on. And awkward balls here out of Team Liquid. Nobody can get proper possession. Or honestly, a quality shot on target. Complexity. It looks to be smooth sailing as we approach the final 60 seconds. If they can get another one, That's so much security in game number 1.
Yeah, and CRR was looking for the pass. It was a wide swing from Complexity moving upfield, and these extra challenges start baiting out the defense and forcing Liquid to burn boost they don't have. Oski looking for a Tau. He's there. Slow touch, but still did enough to make it interesting. And here comes the offense from Liquid, now starting to put numbers upfield, and a Tau flies towards his own corner. We'll have boost to work with here, and this should be a clear for Liquid they can convert.
I mean, we've got 14 shots right now for Team Liquid. 0 goals. Meanwhile, on the other side, 1 shot out of Complexity, 1 goal. So efficient. You can't say the same about this Team Liquid, but they are getting closer and closer, and a double tap almost goes in.
It's almost been the same shot every single time for Liquid.
Here we go, Shirley.
But yet again, the defense from Complexity steps up. Here comes Oski's chance. 2 come in on the goal line, and we're still playing alive.
This has got to be
demos, there's bumps, and a Tau's through the corner. Pressure upfield, and boost for Liquid. Raise will escape. Will it be 1-0? So much bang for the 1
more
point
drive.
bomb, and a Tau tries to get back to the midfield. The cut down should be there. CRR, a Chronic, Oski on the wing. You got him moving upfield with a counterattack. 1 bump is all you need, and Oski has a Tau in front. You gotta be joking for Liquid. It's still up, and finally it touches. Complexity survive.
You had a Toe looking for the demo. They got the mid-air bump, left it for a dribble, 2v1 play, and you still can't get the goal. What a defensive masterclass there from Complexity to show up and shut out Team Liquid. I mean, look at the shot counter. That is ridiculous. 19 shots for Team Liquid, 0 goals, Spaceman.
That's insane. I mean, it's 19-1.
And there's 1 goal.
19-1
1 shot
for Liquid. I mean, that's what we talk about. The volume of shots for Team Liquid and our mobile and high-performance replay show you just what they can bring to the table. Aerial games are theirs. They're little mechanical gremlins, but it just wasn't enough. The defense from Complexity kept them involved in the game and saved them in the end.
And there was still a lot of space for Team Liquid. Whenever you'd see them move into the corners, I thought they were given free space, free range to do a lot of things that we're used to seeing. You know, whether it's bumps from a Toe several times, especially in that last moment, he almost got a piece of the goalkeeper. But even moving forward through the corners, trying to get flicks out into the midfield, there were opportunities. At this point, it's just the accuracy. I don't really see a lack of quality. Maybe there's a couple of shots that you could keep onto the ball a little bit longer, hold it, go for the possession instead of an early shot. But for the most part, that felt like a solid game 1 for Team Liquid.
And that's what it is, right? Like, if you're a Complexity looking at this, you escape game 1, but you can't go the same speed against Liquid. Liquid have everything.
If you're giving 19 shots to Liquid every game,
it's not going to work. It's not going to continue.
Way, right?
They will find a way to score. Even if it's one-dimensional, they will break you down. Complexity have to do a better job of getting shots on the opposite side of the field.
I mean, we say that now, but I would love to see a series where a team could put on 19 shots every single game and not get a single goal. Demo from RLCS to open up game number 2. And the story has to be changed for Team Liquid. Accuracy needs to show up. CRR through the corner, big fake. RLCS opts to leave it again, takes the boost, and that's the quality opportunity, the illusion that we're not getting out of Team Liquid.
It's a free ball at the midfield. There was a couple of bumps on the goal line. Did Oski catch it? No. AJG, nice job tracking it back and holds his spot as Complexity yet again throw more numbers at the midfield line. AJG plays out of the neutral zone, gets a Chronic to bite, and now you get a free counterattack. Oski's already downfield, but he misses the flip. It was a beautiful idea for Complexity. I like the creativity. It just didn't work out.
But now, with Complexity getting a little bit more movement down the field and momentum, they are going to have to deal with the counterattacks from Team Liquid. Over-aggressing is now an option. They're not playing nearly as much defense. You've got to be careful with the transitions. Big miss from Oski, who just looked like he wanted a 50-50 to keep it in the opposition's half. And here comes AJG.
Yeah.
Early shot, takes the boost, and the pressure is on for Complexity. Bumped out the way. First goal again for the team in orange.
I mean, we harp on it constantly, but let's beat the dead horse. The off-ball offense is so important for Complexity. Whether it's AJG or CRR, if RLCS is your second choice off the rebound, you need to get numbers out of the goal line. Yet again, Complexity work overtime for a goal, and they get it as well.
And that Batmobile is as thin as a pancake, but somehow, some way, you're still finding contact on a Toe. Knock him out the way. A low first goal for Complexity. And we still are yet to see a goal for Team Liquid through all of these shots, all of these opportunities. Nothing but crickets, and this could change with Oski off target again. A Chronic will break the curse.
And there's just congestion inside the box. This is what Liquid needed. You get Oski avoiding one bump, self-serves, AJG tries to make the squishy stop, but a Chronic chases up and cheats into the lane. You need to start picking off Complexity. They do it. Liquid find a nice job in the space.
And we see this a lot of times in RLCS. One team just cannot get things together when it comes to the accuracy. They have so many shots. The quality is there. In my opinion, I think Team Liquid have certainly shown good quality shots, good opportunities, but they just can't break through. But eventually you get that first goal, and the flood comes through, Spaceman.
It does, and you're hoping those 50s continue at midfield for Complexity because RLCS was already out. He was waiting for the transition. And yet again, another little picture-in-picture for you as Elevate and Vitality are tied 1-1. Who would have saw that? RLCS with a bump. That's very nice. And Natal give it to his teammate as a Chronic finds Oski at the midfield. There we go. The counter-attack starts that blossom out for Liquid, and you need this congestion. You need this synchronicity upfield to really make things work.
Yeah. Back to the corner we go. CRR. Big whiff, but he gets a demo coming back, and that will help with some of the pressure. RLCS, no 50-50 given to him, and things have slowed down quite a bit. Either team wants to go for a big clear down the other side, holding on to possession, clinical, as I'd say both teams looking for that second goal. They're doing it patiently.
Trying to change up the cadence. On the Liquid is Complexity try their best. It's a big save there. Oski through the corners. Things start to slow down to the midfield. A lot of ISO challenges as here comes RLCS. Now trading back and forth in the possession game. AJG does get a bump, but possession still here
Off
for
the corner.
Liquid. Through the corner, beautiful center. Atal trying his best, but just can't get the second touch.
And that's good speed from the man on the Batmobile. TRR off the backboard of Chronic. Crucial read. And you can feel things have slowed down, Spaceman.
Yep.
A lot of solo dribbles. Hoping to get a 50-50 that works out in their favor. Anything to open up space without risking too much of your rotation.
And Oski was already back, so he gets the back corner grab. Plenty of resources here for
Does he have a
Liquid.
flip reset? Oh, he does.
And now how do you bite? Try to wrap it around. I like the challenge here from Liquid. They're really forcing Complexity to turtle up on defense.
But to be honest with you, that's not enough to get through. If game one wasn't a reminder of how good Complexity's defense can be, surely with all these shots and you're not getting anything for it, it's a slap in the face. Your offense just isn't good enough yet. And Team Liquid can elevate to higher spots in this series, in this match, in this game alone. But we've got to see something more mechanical, more creative to get through with 51 seconds to go.
4 demos to nothing. Complexity have the physicality. They have the edge. The enforcers are out at the midfield. They're out through the corners. They're forcing Team Liquid to take these tough angles. It's a good connection that you find. But better pressure right now from Liquid. Maybe that helps open things. There was a pass attempt at least. I think it was just a miscommunication as Complexity tried to put the pressure on with 30 seconds to go.
We've got some testing backboard hits out of Complexity, waiting for a potential mistake. But here we go, you've got to make your final movement or else we're getting OT. 18 seconds on the board, demos coming out, Team Liquid throwing everything forward. The ball on the goal line slips in.
You can only turtle up so much. This is the problem. You run out of boost, you lose a defender. AJG has to cover too much space for one person. And see you later. Slaps him on the back of the Fennec. A 2-1 lead for Liquid.
Look at the work that Ato was putting in as well. He got the demo, the corner pass, then moved on to get the bump. And I believe this is the first time the Batmobile has been used by anyone in this season. And he's already given it a good reputation. 5 seconds to go. Just hit another one, why don't you? A Chronic 3-1.
That's what Liquid can do. They start to break you down little by little, and the volume of shots from game one continue in this one. 14 for Liquid to 8 of Complexity, and you see it affecting the score. 3-1, Liquid have rallied back late in this game.
You don't get 19 shots, but you got 14 and 3 goals. I'd say that's solid. That's a good pickup in game number 2. And something that Team Liquid can definitely be happy and proud of. Hold their head high as game 2, they certainly left their mark. Moving forward, Complexity, this is what I was talking about. That you can't rely on just all of these shots. on your target and hoping they're not going to find accuracy. They've got to find better ways to break out, and you saw a little bit of that with some demos left and right a couple of times. They definitely had the more physical game, but even then, it wasn't enough.
I mean, we've seen this from Complexity before, where they're able to just withstand defensively in North America. Consistent series back-to-back. Their backs are against the wall. The defense keeps them in games. When it goes the length of the field, when we go the distance, sometimes they struggle to kind of get out of that monotonous grind and put the offense on full display. And whether that's a physicality issue or just an interconnective issue that they have in midfield, there are problems with Complexity. They're still working through. They're getting better, but it's got to come back around because they can't afford just to turtle up yet again.
And you saw what Ato does best in that game. I mean, he's top 3 demos out of Europe for a reason, and he's coming out here still putting in that physical work. And while his other teammates aren't as physical as I'd say all of Complexity are, Ato certainly makes up for it in that department alone, and he keeps popping off for Team Liquid. That's why we always talk about him. The statistics so in favor to show that Ato comes out, carries the team when he needs to, and game 2, certainly the reason why he took that one and his team. Let's see what happens now. Complexity, do they swap up this passive defensive approach?
What do you think it's going to take on the offensive side of the ball for Complexity? We've seen a couple of times where they're working on the infield pass, they're working on those long counterattacks, something you might see out of like Vitality, but it just hasn't worked. Is it a midfield problem? Is it a 50 game? What do they need to fix?
I mean, for me, they do play a decently defensive game in North America. I mean, they have the #1 team, or defense, excuse me, statistically coming out, only allowing 1.72 goals per game here representing North America. So the defense, I'm not too surprised to see them here, you know, turtling up a little bit, opting to maybe be more passive at times. But I think it all comes down to this midfield right now, Spaceman. Winning challenges, pushing forward, taking a little more risks with that rotation. You've seen that you can hold on defensively, but that's just simply not enough. And people need to start coming alive, and El Turo certainly can do that if he's given the space.
I think risk is the right word. You win by a lot, you lose by a lot, but play at a high level, and RLCS can do a bunch as CRR puts a hand up and stuffs out that shot. Here comes Oski doing all he can, but 3 commit yet again. We've seen this before. Complexity trying to fight the way out of their own side.
Ooh, what a
dangerous pass, and Liquid are starting to hunt for some of their perspectives here. They're looking for placement.
And there's so many layers to the rotations. Ato takes the corner boost, also stays behind the ball. A Chronic, nice dribble. And look at the space. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody's even in the midfield. 2 players back from Complexity, letting Team Liquid walk all around him. Again, Oski has so much time to take this ball into the air. All his teammates can grab boost, and he's still winning the 1v1. This is ridiculous out of Liquid.
And it's not like AJG and CRR are starving on boost. I mean, sure, RLCS been able to break free, and at times there's been other on the counterattacks that have helped, but it just seems like they're a little bit hesitant to balance Liquid at the midfield. And on defensive sides, Liquid haven't been pressured too much, so they're more than happy to work through these reads as Complexity don't have enough. But finally, there we go. You need the physicality on the goal line to help out.
If you're getting pressed and you haven't played a lot of defense, you might not be used to what is happening in front of you. A demo from AJG, RLCS off the ceiling, saves the flip. And even though they were only on the defensive side for what felt like 5 seconds, more than enough time for Complexity.
Question marks arise, but the answers follow quickly. And off the kickoff, it's Liquid with the pressure. Demo on to CRR, numbers advantage here for the moment for Liquid, and will try to escape into the back line as RLCS gets bullied off the play. CRR escapes, but gets boost for his efforts, so you're rewarded and get one taken away. Long jet clear to RLCS. That's an insane pass, we'll call it that, as he tries to continue on, and CRR is hunting as the man on deck. Here come the numbers for Complexity, but quickly stifled out and pushed back. Liquid want nothing of it.
Another game where Complexity scoring first. Set the pace. CRR, I like that early challenge, but a Chronic was waiting patiently in that midfield. RLCS, here we go, 1v3. Nobody else is supporting him. And in comes a late rotation out of AJG, who still finds a way to get a solid challenge in. More and more offense out of Complexity. It looks like they've woken up, and RLCS certainly has, but a Chronic, an even better save, crossbar and out.
It was a chip shot through the air, hold on. Do Liquid have it in the tank? Oski tried to play it off the bar. Atal centers it back, and into play we go. CRR with a lot of burn and a lot of time.
Over a Chronic?
Right over 2 as Oski will clear it away.
AJG's getting some bumps in. Oski waiting. This is a good opportunity. Liquid, all the space in the world. Not the best flick from Ato. And an opportunity wasted.
If you score first in your Complexity, you're 25-3. That's a pretty good record.
Pretty solid.
Will it continue? That's the big question. For the volley of shots that Liquid have been able to throw at Complexity, they've certainly handled it. Circling back out. Still looking for more presence in that center box. Haven't found enough.
Ooh, CRR.
CRR burning so much. The reset, okay. At least gets Oski to bite and find the clear before more members and more of Complexity push up. That's a great challenge, but where is the rest of the pressure?
I mean, to be honest, Complexity doesn't need to throw everybody forward. We mentioned risk in the beginning, and now they've got the first goal. You don't need to take that extra step, that initiative, to go downfield and throw everybody forward. You've had a defensive game, and it worked out in game number 1. Game number 3, you've got the lead, 45 seconds to go. No point in sending the whole house. Because at this point, waste time, run the clock down, and get yourself on match point.
AJG was tracking at the midfield, did a nice job of breaking up the play from Liquid. When he gets low, you're calling on Razebull and CRR to handle the load, and uh-oh, something went wrong.
Here we go. Team Liquid heating up. You can see the steam out of all 3 players. Oski to the ceiling, back to himself. AJG slow on the challenge, and the follow-up as clean as could be. Hello, Team Liquid.
Under 30 to play here in game number 3. Tie series 1-1, Liquid Complexity. Trading shots, but it's been Liquid in almost back-to-back games now.
Here we go, here we go. AJG, he's making up for that previous challenge. And now you can feel something in the air. It's changed a little bit for Team Liquid, Spaceman.
Well, they're working through the challenges the Complexity have thrown at them in the midfield. Atao trying to get up to meet it will do so. His teammate ready for support. Here we go from the ceiling, but cut down quickly and swiftly. AJG, the pass.
Booming
CRR's
clear,
downfield,
no way you
has
hit this.
space, and he just misses it by a hair.
Couldn't even get a touch on it, but in that instance, the lighter the touch, the better the shot. You don't want to redirect it too hard, or it could be off its mark. And a good early initiative from Team Liquid. They were down the entire game up until the last 30 seconds, then come out through OT and punish.
It's always the kickoffs. It always comes down to the kickoffs. Liquid, again.
Wow.
Sneak through
What is
and
that?
just in Complexity, you got to put your head in your hands and just think, man, the defense is trying, but they just can't break out for sustained drives downfield.
That is a painful one to lose. Another heavy shot count for Team Liquid, but this was a much more offensive match out of Complexity. You've got 8 shots in total, I believe the most we've seen from them. Go into OT, which felt like we didn't even need to. If you're Complexity, that feels more like a throw than it is anything else. You fall with the pressure in the last 30 seconds, then OT, bad kickoff, come on. Things have got to get picked up if you want to take down the young guns from EU.
And the thing we're seeing in their Mobile 1 high-performance replay is the consistent allowance of space for Liquid. How often they have so much real estate to work with. Complexity, turtling up yet again. Hasn't been a big problem, but they don't have the goals to reciprocate, and that's the problem,
And
Turtle.
it's one of those things where you can try and be more passive and give more space to Team Liquid, and that's fine. But if you do that, you're giving up control to Team Liquid. Then it's up to whether or not they have the mechanics and the ability to put on a better shot. And for Complexity, you want to hold that power to win the game, keep it in your own hands, try to fight them a little bit closer in the air. But we'll see if that happens. Game 4, match point for Team Liquid, and out the gates, it's CRR.
That's one way to respond. You give a kickoff, you get one. Razebull sets it up on a dime. Evades one, hand off to the teammate just for security purposes.
That's just Razebull, bro. I said CRR, that's the name that popped up. But let's be honest, Razebull, we see the work you put in.
That's you doing all the work and Corelli jumping in for the steal.
Oh, that always happens.
Yeah.
He can't get away from it. I mean, people understand that in ranked. You get the flip reset, somebody else steals it. Oh, I was making sure. No, you weren't. You stole my goal. And that same thing happened here, but Complexity, an early lead again, scoring first.
And you're going to need Razebull to start breaking free like that. Creating space and opportunities is big, but being a threat on offense, forcing the defensive Team Liquid to respect you at the midfield. As we'll find that clear through the back line, never mind. Quick 50s there from Liquid as they try to escape and work through the corner. Soft touch gives it back to CRR. Doesn't have really much to work with here. I'm trying to get around the top before Tal plays it down to the ground, and back to the dirt we go.
Razebull, pinch from the sidewall. Good interception. CRR's late on the challenge again. How many times have I said that? Feels like Complexity just a little bit behind, lagging with those challenges. But no, another miss. AJG looking for the snipe in the top corner. And here's the space in the midfield over to Oski. Nice pass. But things, I don't know, there's space given to him. Like I said, we're waiting on when Team Liquid want to make use of it. And now they do.
The timing seems to be off for Complexity, but it is so on for Liquid. From the side wall, beautifully done. A soft catch from a Chronic, and just skates it by into the net. That's what Liquid do so well.
That's an immediate response. It took, in the last game, 4 minutes and 30 seconds just to equalize, and now they can get some momentum early on match point. Try and end this best of 5. Again, this is a double elimination bracket. Of course, if you lose the series, you're not out yet, but you want to keep that extra life as long as you can, Spaceman. It's so important moving forward.
Double elim shows who's the best on what day, and your road's gonna get way more difficult if you're Complexity. Liquid trying to put the final nail in the coffin of this series. Big one center box, a Chronic keeping it alive. Follow up from a Towel will get beat out by AJG.
Go, there's space.
And now the breakaway chance. He'll get out in front. The pass to CRR was looking for it. Quick cut down and Liquid escape.
It did look like CRR was also opting to go for a demo midair. A Chronic, nice soft touch. Razebull, good speed. We're finally seeing the pace picking up. But a better counterattack and back into the midfield was almost a ridiculous pass from Oski in the corner. But it's read well. Complexity fighting, and this has turned into a better midfield battle for them.
Okay, the patience at the midfield, seeing some boost grabs for Complexity. Now you got resources. This certainly helps. You're going to have to keep this one going. Sustained offense downfield has been the bane, the Achilles of Complexity in this series. But Liquid have made the most of essentially every possession.
It just feels like a lot of burst for Complexity. They'll get down, have maybe one shot max at this point, and then they'll have to retreat immediately and looking for a corner pinch. Razebull couldn't get it completely. And back down the other end, there's the one opportunity, and now you got more defense.
So you pop it high, but Liquid are ready for it. They understood the assignment. They had to dock it early. You get a demo. Razebull 1v2 in front. Can't bounce it forward. A Chronic yet again wins another 50 through the corner. That's just more opportunities for Liquid to put pressure on and force the defense to start double committing. Now you got AJG wafting at the midfield. Razebull tries to follow up, but doesn't have enough boost to keep this one moving. Here come the numbers from Liquid.
Oh, a Chronic receiving the pass. Looking for a backboard read. It's touched barely by Complexity. Boomer ball for them. Nobody can keep possession. Nobody can find the pace they're looking for. It's match point. It's all tied up. One goal could be the death of you in the upper bracket if you're Complexity. The pressure's got to start falling in, and somebody needs to step up in this game.
That's a dangerous touch. Razebull can play this, though. Trying to get it to CRR. If you're Complexity, you have to start pressing now. You don't want to come down to the wire on this one, as Vitality will handle business against Elevate.
Well, and you also remember what happened in that OT. The kickoff not in favor of Complexity. Could be another nightmare for them.
Poked free. Back into the neutral zone. Litmus test starts for Complexity. What do you have in the tank? What can you dig into in the playbook? To AJG, hesitant on the draw. Oski trying to get it around, and oh my goodness. Liquid are showing up here.
I mean, look at the finesse on this first touch. Quickly and around two players, got all the space, save your flip for the right side, and 2-1 Liquid.
It's just hesitation from Complexity. Liquid doing a very nice job of closing the gap and finishing the play. Off the kickoff, a little bit more magic potentially. Complexity, you have another one in you. AJG from the ceiling. But the cut down yet again. Liquid denying so many opportunities.
Complexity, what else do they have left? 41 seconds, they've got to make a change, got to make a drive, got to make a clear at this point. You've got to get it out of your own half. Razebull finding CRR, good connection back to Razebull again. And this could be it, Spaceman.
He needs some physicality. Liquid trying to stop that bleeding of 0-3 against North American teams this season. Do they break it here? Under 20 to play. Pressure into the corner. Razebull gets his call. CRR's downfield, has one to beat. The pass to Razebull. Finally, Complexity show up.
Last second heroics, and it's Razebull behind the ball. But it was a team play. CRR back down into the midfield, and the perfect bottom left corner.
They just needed space. They just needed one shot. They've been working for that play what feels like the entire series, and it comes down to the final 10.
Finally, they can break out again. 7 seconds. Razebull, double tap attempt, and now the follow-up not on target. CRR can't secure it. Complexity. It looked like they were out, but they knew they still had a shot, and they're fighting for it.
Take the chains off Razebull and let him work. Look at what happens when Complexity have time. They've been hunting.
Oh, but the kickoffs, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared of your Complexity, and it's still up. A toe to himself, air dribble by alone, almost to Oski. I thought for a second we were gonna see something crazy, but unfortunately, we go to game 5, and to be honest, that's quite fortunate. I don't want to say that's unfortunate. You know, I just wanted a little bit of drama there at the end, but now we get game 5.
You're getting Liquid, one of the most mechanical teams in the world, versus Complexity, a consistent powerhouse in North America, going to 5 in our upper bracket round 1 to start Boston. This is where we're at. We've already seen some crazy series, but the fact that this is decided on Champions Field, there is no other way these two teams should play.
And I completely forgot how game 3 went. I mean, Complexity were set to win game number 3, and then we get into OT because they threw in the final few seconds, to be honest with you. Get into OT, have a poor kickoff, and it's given right back to Team Liquid, who stole that game. Now come out here, and you give them a taste of their own medicine. 2 quick goals, and this one didn't even need to go into OT to force us to Champions Field. Oh,
for the first time, it feels like, looking at the shots in this one, it was 8-6. Complexity finally had the better of Liquid. And whether or not that led to 3-2 scoreline, we're probably going to push that narrative, but that's what it came out to. And this was just consistency from Complexity. Finally, they break through. Finally, they find what they had been looking for in this series. Liquid's defense was good, but Complexity started to get a little bit more creative, start to feel themselves a little bit more. And RLCS was the catalyst when they needed him most.
And if you're a Complexity fan, I think you are thrilled at the fact that they utilized each other. It wasn't solo plays. They moved as a unit, as a team. And in game 5, which team will prevail? Who's got what it takes to win this series and move on in the upper bracket?
5 minutes to keep your upper bracket dreams alive. Day 1 of Boston. RLCS waiting. Double tap. Is it possible? Sure, but Oski's a little bit better at the moment. AJG through the corner. CRR, center box. Quick stops from Liquid. It'll force the retreat from Complexity.
This is the hot Complexity that we're used to. In the first minute, they have scored first, I believe, every single game. And they are coming out here on that exact same page. Unless Team Liquid have something else to say about it. Nobody's on the backboard. RLCS uses all of his boost only to go for a double commit, and this could be an opportunity for Team Liquid.
And there's some indecisiveness at midfield from Complexity. They look like they're not quite sure who wants to track, who wants to follow on the ball chase. As AJG escapes into the box, RLCS tries to meet it. On the cut down, here comes CRR.
Oh, he faked.
Beautiful as well. Complexity strike first.
And you have no choice if you're Team Liquid but to respect the shooter, respect who's up in the air. CRR, you know what he's capable of. You know he can hit double taps. What does he do? He fakes it and lets the ball flop down.
It's almost a similar setup than what we saw in game 3, where finally on this side of the coin, Complexity are reading their own fortune. And Oski will try to take it off the kickoff, but it feels like the momentum has started to swing back for Complexity. Can they build on this?
The bumper.
Is it possible? Turtle, they have to capitalize on this pressure.
Where was this Complexity all series long? I mean, more creativity out of their offense than every single game before. Mid-air bump attempts from RLCS. They're getting risky. They're getting aggressive. I love it, but an even better read from a toe, and Team Liquid have a chance to step up.
Keeping one back and prioritizing boost. AJG almost met the touch at midfield, but starting to blossom more, and here comes the offense from Complexity. Now the pressure falls on the Liquid shoulders as they look for a response with 3:24 and counting to play here in game 5. If you're just joining us, welcome in. Liquid Complexity. It's been a fun one. You haven't missed much, but my goodness, it's like closing on a good chapter.
You've missed a lot, to be honest with you. If you're just joining in now, I'm a little bit upset with you. You should have been watching from the very beginning in the pre-show, but we're still glad to have you. And you can definitely expect some better Rocket League. RLCS, he might be behind it. But of course, Team Liquid, a better 50. Another fake in the corner, and the fakes keep working for Complexity.
It looks like you're just stacking too much with such little resource. Let's take a look at it again one more time on the gun. 39 for a Chronic. You get a double commit. It's not the altitude you want. CRR jumps in and reads through the corner. 3 minutes exactly. A 2-0 lead for Complexity.
Man. And Liquid, I mean, you know the defense of Complexity can stand tall. Getting just one goal has been so difficult. They've been fighting all throughout every single game to get one quality opportunity. And now they've got to get 2, but they can do it so long as they hold some pressure and force Complexity into an uncomfortable spot. And this is definitely uncomfortable, but nobody's there for the shot.
We jump into dangerous territory here where you put this pressure on, Complexity can crumble. It's a big demo. It helps for a moment. RLCS tries to find the clear. CRR is going to get the call. has nothing to work with in the tank. All the resources for Liquid and all the space as well.
Second half of game number 5, Champions Field has been a doozy for Complexity and a nightmare for Team Liquid. A little bit worried on if this offense can even get going. They need a spark, they need something. And of course, Ato can step up. This man has been putting up numbers, putting up ridiculous stats all season long, all split long. You need him now more than ever.
Some mistakes there defensively for Complexity, but hold on.
What?
And
it works.
That's all that matters.
It works.
The big point now is they're killing the clock. They're getting rid of time for Liquid to find an answer. Oski, no way. Almost got over 2. Keeps it in play.
Double commit.
The pinch does help.
It does help, but it's a better read. Ato wants another pitch himself to a Chronic, and here comes the striker, Oski. A lot of power behind the ball, but he's too far away from the net. And there's so much time for Complexity to react. So much time for a double tap. Complexity, 3-0.
Oh, you can see it in their faces, just the dagger that is RLCS. When the series needs him most, he shows up. 3 looks in the mirror, 1 powerful touch, and RLCS makes it 3-0. A minute 21, Liquid, do you have a response?
1 goal, 1 assist from the Bull, the man himself. You don't have a lot of time if you're Liquid. This might be goodbye to your upper bracket spot, unless you get 1 goal, and you need it soon, Spaceman.
You can't afford to waste time. It's out in front.
Here we go.
Tao,
There it is.
Beautiful touch.
There it is.
And finally, Liquid find a way.
They find a way, and it seems like once we get into the final minute, or close to, within 3 seconds now, of the last 60 seconds, Liquid start to heat up, but I'm starting to wonder, is this the end? Do they have what it takes? I mean, this is a big obstacle to climb. Complexity. It was a rough game 3 where they had the lead, but they were only in the lead by 1 goal. This time they've got 2 more before things get a little bit dicey.
Now you need to kill the clock if you're Complexity and let RLCS work downfield. Takes boost away from Liquid, trying to force the 4.
Oh, we faked it.
And there it is. Let him work downfield, and that might be it.
And look at the recognition as well. RLCS carrying the ball across. CRR, he could have cleared that to the corner, but he backflips, lets AJG crash through like the knight in shining armor, and they extend the lead once again. 3 goals for Team Liquid needed. 45 seconds. I'm not sure if it's possible.
If you're Complexity, you can't play 1 speed against anybody, let alone Liquid. And man, have they turned it around in this series. And for Liquid, who had a volley of shots, a consistent amount, 11, 12, 14, 19.
Okay, all right.
They only have 6 in game 5.
And it's getting sloppier. Within 2 now, CRR, that ball was just coasting along all the way into the defense of Complexity, passed out to the midfield. And I don't know what else is needed. There's got to be something crazy. This would be amazing, to say the least, if we see a Complexity toss or maybe a Team Liquid peak.
Hold on.
Who's going to be behind it, though?
That kickoff's huge. You got to keep this pressure going. You need to score quickly. AJG on the steal.
He's just
and
wasting time.
Killing time.
Oh,
the
man.
reset on the pinch. Tries to stall on the back wall, but here goes a towel. 10 seconds to play. Liquid, you got to score, and you got to do it now.
It's got to be right here as well. That clear, it's got to solidify it, and it will. 3 seconds on the clock. No more goals for Team Liquid. And that's gonna do it. The ball, it doesn't even matter if it hits the ground. They've got security, they've got insurance, and Complexity will knock Team Liquid to the lower bracket.